So welcome to another edition of Conversations in Newmarket with Neighbor. I'm happy today to have my friend Ariana, my other friend Deanne. We're going to talk about cool things that are happening around town, what we're both or collectively, all of us are up to, and how we'd like to see the town move. First things first, though, we got to let the people that pay for the show give us a little sponsor interlude.
Hi, welcome to the Buzz 505 studio. We have a new idea for you to try. We're really encouraging you to listen to our podcast along with a glass of wine. We are featuring this month the Laurent Miquel Merlot and the Laurent Miquel Unoak Chardonnay. Both wines can be found at the LCBO for $12.95 a bottle. These wines are really versatile with all kinds of foods, or you can just sip and enjoy them while you're listening to a podcast. The Unoak Chardonnay is a personal favorite of mine. I like it because it's all about the fruit. When you have an unoak style of Chardonnay, that means that the wine has never actually touched any oak barrel. So we've got just fruit here with apple, citrus. It's a really nice crisp and refreshing style of white wine. And then for our red lovers, we have the Laurent Miquel Merlot, also at $12.95 a bottle at the LCBO. And this wine is full of blueberry, plum, a little bit of spice as well. It's an elegant and smooth style of red wine. Certainly bring it out for dinner, but it sips nicely on its own as well. So the next time you're listening to a podcast from Buzz 505, we encourage you to pour yourself a glass. Cheers.
So that's great. Thanks to our sponsor. Welcome, Deanne. Welcome, Ariana.
Thank you.
I want to launch right into it, though. And Deanne, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you're ingratiated to this town, besides just making lemon loaf nuts aside.
Oh, yeah. You and your baking.
It's the key to his heart.
Yeah.
So my name is Deanne, and I'm the Executive Director with Rose of Sharon Services for Young Mothers. And thank you so much for having us here today. We, for the last 35 years, have helped prenatal and parenting mothers with many services and programs at no cost.
The cost, though, being you've got to fundraise and, there's a lot of things.
Absolutely.
It's not that it's no cost. It's not like I don't want them. I don't
no
want
cost
people,
to the moms.
Right. I don't want
better.
I don't want people listening to this podcast going, "Wow, they've got a money tree at Rose of Sharon."
Wouldn't that be nice? So we have counseling services. So we support the moms because during this time there's a lot of isolation and they need a lot of support. And some of them are living in multi-generational families. So it's close proximity. So sometimes relationship supports need to be there and how to help set healthy boundaries as well.
That's great. So we'll dive deep into some things you're doing, fundraising things and ideas in the future. Ariana, why don't you tell us about yourself?
So I'm Ariana. I'm actually in the events industry. So a little bit of a crazy time right now for me and going through little changes, but probably looking to open up a new event business in the Newmarket area and start helping with things around here.
Cool. And were you born and raised in Newmarket?
I was born and raised in Newmarket. Well, born in Mississauga, but been in Newmarket since I was 6 years old. So.
And you traveled a bit and to bring
Too much traveling.
Worldly experiences back to Newmarket.
Yep.
So you indirectly or probably directly are making Newmarket a better place.
Trying to.
Just kind of socially influencing, saying, hey, there's more than X or Y. Like there's this.
Coming up with new ideas to do in the area.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So part of the show, the genesis of the show is just kind of like neighbors chatting about what's going on or how can we help each other, or Ariana's got great ideas on events that might help you, or maybe she doesn't have any ideas, but we're going to spitball ideas and then come up with really cool things that we could be doing. Mm-hmm. I know on a couple of previous episodes, we talked about food as a big thing and how food can connect people. And I know on my last podcast, I talked about, because we had this idea on how food could bring people together. And then we're kind of breaking down stereotypes of racism and things, how we could have kind of like a giant potluck, or perhaps you could draw a new family to Newmarket's name. And maybe you could now in a virtual sense do hey, let me show you how to make my heritage meal. Like I'm not Polish, but if I was Polish, I maybe would say, hey, I'm going to make you pierogies and cabbage rolls and that kind of thing. And let me tell you about Poland and what I brought to Canada, or how I kind of melted in. And so welcome to the country. And then somebody might be from Lebanon and they're doing things too. In our last podcast, we said, wouldn't it be cool if we introduced music on top of that? like
Music
Polish
brings everyone together.
right, music and food.
Yep.
So what's going to bring us together today? I think it's events,
Yep. Absolutely.
right? So what kind of events? I know it's certainly has probably been a challenge for you on, revenue, and how much would you say that you say as a percentage of your, call it income or revenue, the money that you collect that you then give back, how much of that would you say as a percentage comes from donations and events and all that?
It's actually a high percentage
Yeah.
where we run several programs just through donated dollars, and we had to close those programs down.
Yeah.
We work with bingo, and it's 50% less revenue they're receiving as well. So those monies are down. Our funders, some of the funders have not been able to raise those dollars, and so those monies are down too. So I think we, with every other charity, I think is
Yeah, I know we
experiencing
deal
this
with
right now.
Easter seals, and we do like as Snapped, we do a bunch of work with Easter seals. And Easter Seals Canada, typically their budget is like 10 million, and this year they collected 3 million. So
crazy.
Like, that's
Yeah.
like, as a business guy, I cannot afford to have my revenue off like that. I mean, there would be things like layoffs and you'd be trying to survive or not doing programs.
Absolutely.
And so there's been a big emergence of like online and virtual stuff.
Virtual
Have you seen it?
events.
Have you
Yeah.
seen some cool stuff, Ariana?
Yeah, there's one that actually my previous 2 companies ago is doing right now. They did one of their galas completely virtual, set up the whole room like they would have for the
Wow.
normal gala. Still got like tickets and stuff, and did all the performances and stuff there, but people were able to just look at it virtually. It's called True Patriot Love. It's one of like the big galas in Toronto, and they did that. So you're seeing a lot more of that come out now, of still doing ticket sales, but your tickets aren't as expensive as they were before. So you're not raising as much money,
And the
but they're
event's
still
not
finding
as
ways.
long, and
Yeah, and like they have like sent out I'm not exactly sure for True Patriot, but other companies have been sending out like a brochure of like the what the activities for the night are, and people are
like
being
a
able,
program. Or
yeah,
something,
and people are able to follow along with the program as it goes on. So they're still having the feel of like, oh, we're at an event, but you're in
So
covered in
literally
your
a
own
cou-
living room.
Literally a couple of days ago, because you guys are probably familiar with this, but Snapped, wearing my other hat here, not my buzz or my neighbor hat, but Snapped, we've been running music and comedy all summer and fundraising and doing various things, and we actually got good at streaming. And so, over time, at first it was a cell phone on a stand.
Yep.
But now we're into like multi-cameras.
I was in
and-
part of that, I think.
Yeah, and probably like half off frame. And,
Yeah.
but then we graduated into moving and like cutting away and throwing it to other locations. I
Yep.
know we did something where we threw it to an artist in Costa Rica and she was playing. So we got really good at all that. And we just this week did the Chamber of Commerce Awards Gala
2 nights ago.
from here, but we were throwing things around. Like, so we had the mayor on like a video we had done, but then we threw it to award winners so we could go. And the winner was, we had all those people set up sort of backstage and using software so we could then split screen it and saying, oh, it's Ariana won the award for the smartest person in Newmarket.
Congratulations, I
Well,
heard that.
For the 12th year in a row, minus the Australia year.
Yeah.
Right? But she
That year
even won.
doesn't count.
She was even still smarter than everyone. She wasn't even in a continent. But do you know what I mean? So it was kind of cool the way we did all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. Like you're trying to, I think everyone's just trying to figure out what they need to do.
Find ways to bring it together still and still
Yeah.
connect with people in the way you would in live events.
So I know.
It's a different world.
And,
Yeah, I know,
and
Deanne.
congratulations, I think, to CPG and Nature's Emporium for winning those awards. That was pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
We work with Abuse Hurts. So we're
Okay.
happy Ellen won. Ellen's very nice, and we're happy she won. Rob Clark and I are like longtime friends, so we're happy he won too. We're happy everyone won. From our standpoint, we're just happy keeping the whole thing going. It was, it's fairly complicated when you try and do
Yep.
that. For example, I was running the backstage area, and there was like 33 people down there, and you're like, okay, you're up, you're go, don't go, and half the people you don't know, so you're like, okay, looking at names, but I think it executes really well.
It's different what it's doing to like I have quite a few friends that are in audio visual, and they're having to pivot and learn different ways of how to put on events and how to do it virtually, and like exactly what Paul was saying, the whole split screens, like they're having to learn different new skills now to make the event world still keep going.
And so one of the cool things we're working with Deanne on, we were looking at potentially doing virtual bingo, but that's not a thing you're allowed to do. So we then looked at what else can we do? And we've been having some conversations over the last week or 10 days about some ideas. So we like to push the envelope. Now, Deanne always is like, reel it back, Paul. Like you and I,
the mother in me.
Ariana and I could go totally
We'll go
crazy.
crazy.
We could go totally crazy, and no one would participate in our events, but we would have fun. But
it's a good complement of relationship,
Yeah.
I think.
but one of the things we talked about are some old school kind of like TV shows and stuff, and we probably won't be able to use exactly this. But do you remember Hollywood Squares?
Briefly,
It was kind of like tic-tac-toe, and you would choose
the
somebody,
things,
and
yeah.
if you answer, they'd ask them a trivia question, and you'd have to say if that was correct or not. And if you matched it up, you would get to choose an
you
X
could
or
do
no.
stuff like that virtually.
So we are
Absolutely.
doing something like that, and we're going to launch that in January.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I want to play.
So what we'll do is we'll get
Game show night.
So there's like 9 squares. So we'll get local celebrities to be the 9 squares. And then we'll have people based on a donation, not an amount per se, but like a lucky draw. Make a donation, you could be contestant and win prizes and do things. And so
Love
we're
it.
like, that could be like a fun thing we do every week.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, like,
Play off different game shows and stuff, switch it up.
yeah. So that was kind of one of the things we're doing. What else were we talking about?
Those are the main ones that we were talking about.
No,
it's
we
having
were also
fun.
talking about Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you for the plug.
I don't want to talk the whole show.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So Rose of Sharon services for young mothers. It made a lot of sense to us when we were chatting with Paul. He's got some amazing ideas. Is to run some events on Mother's Day featuring all of the wonderful things that we can do and that we are doing.
So we could run like even a virtual thing where you maybe present a Mother's Day meal, like assuming
Yeah.
maybe it has to be
It's all
virtual,
about
maybe
the
it's
food.
a hybrid,
It's all
who
about the
knows?
food.
Food,
Yeah,
but
so
then
that's
you
the
could
thing
have
right now. You don't
music.
know what's
Yeah.
going to happen next.
We
so.
don't know, and it's a chance to bring people together
Yeah.
who can't get together. So
Yeah.
it's a new way.
Excuse me. I also know in the chamber event, for example, we had people like from Market Brewing explaining their beer and how to do it and how to pour a beer. We had somebody from the olive company talking about olive and vinegar and bread. And those are the kind of things I think you could weave into a Mother's Day thing. You could literally have a florist or anyone participate and get some flowers. A mother would get some flowers. The experience could talk about taking care of your flowers.
People can pick
just
and
little
choose.
things.
You
And I
pick
think-
and choose
different
what you
little
want.
bundles
Yeah.
that you could
Yes.
do.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be some overwhelming thing. Maybe it's just the florist talking for a minute, how to make your flowers last longer. But all those kind of cool little informative things, and I don't think any of this stuff would have happened without COVID.
No.
No, I agree.
But I do think that there's a lot of legacy stuff that will hang around. Podcasts are Zooming, like certainly
And meeting new
Zoom
friends.
and go to meet.
Yep.
Oh, Friends is pushing it. And
I put up with it.
we're acquaintances. But I think there's those kind of opportunities for things to grow. Like, yeah, for sure, friendships. You and I are I didn't even know you.
Oh, yeah, and now
And now it's like
Can't
we're
get rid
just
of
like
him?
steady stream of
I think I see you
lemon
weekly.
loaf
Yeah.
coming in here. But it's great. So what other ideas cool ideas do you think, event ideas? Like, is there things that we haven't even kind of thought about, or have you seen anything out there you're like, wow, that's really cool?
Or like on the fundraising like standpoint, you're seeing like what I already brought up, like the gala stuff, and they're still doing tickets online. But there's a lot of different online platforms that companies are using now, like virtual silent auctions that you could go in and set up a silent auction and people could still see it like on videos, and then you're able to bid on things all online and it gets sent to you and stuff like that. You're seeing a lot more of, which are great ways to be fundraising, and the platform's already set up. It's just more pivoting it to be live over video instead of you being able to go in and touch things. But there's ways to put pictures and make you kind of feel like you're part of it. So that's like one of the best ways I've seen so far, but there's ways to make it grow even more.
So one of the things I saw with even Rose of Sharon, they did, not Rose of Sharon, with Abuse Hurts. They had this painting done by Q107 of Kiss, and they're auctioning that off. And it was a painting that was done during the concert. So the guy was sort of side stage painting
That's
this thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then you tap into it. And I think initially they were thinking, oh, we could sell this for a couple of thousand. And we're like, no, I think you can sell this for multiple thousands.
Yeah.
Because you have those kind of crazy people that collect that stuff.
Well, and you're creating like a live bidding war almost like virtually that people are wanting to be a part of it because it's something to be doing.
So we really said, because we know artists, we should try and set up a corporation or like an adjunct to what we do, even if it's Neighbur, that has an artist at every once the events sort of happen again. So maybe the Red Hot Chili Peppers are here, and all they have to do is sign.
Yeah.
Like, let them go side stage, maybe pose with a picture to authenticate the painting, and just sign it. All of a sudden, now you've got something that's worth like 25, 50 grand.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And,
Paul, where do you come? Where does this come
that
from?
wasn't my
Oh,
idea, but I saw the idea and I said, like, this could be
How do we make this bigger?
Yeah.
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 And they could do that. Let's say it was the Chili Peppers. They could do that in Vancouver, Toronto, like Ottawa, wherever they're playing. And you have it set up. Literally, all their only requirement would be a Sharpie.
That's like one of the cool things that you mentioning different cities and stuff. One of the cool things with the virtual events is you're able to connect people across a country now. Now it's not just like Toronto and only people in Toronto could go. You could connect with people through the whole
barriers.
country.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you're not having to put capacities on limits of people because you're in virtual platforms. Like obviously those have limits, but you're able to do more with it now and reach a larger audience, which is one of the really cool things with virtual events happening.
Right. That's why you'd want to be really strategic about who are in those squares on that Hollywood
absolutely.
Square.
Oh, that's
Like
going
if
to be
we're
fun.
trying to reach all York
gonna be
region,
awesome.
we want to be smart that we're pulling someone from Markham and somebody from Georgina and that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
And
Different
so-
areas.
Reaching out to the mayors.
But just imagine if you had those paintings happening all over the place.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
And-
cool.
Now, I know a lot of artists, so
and that
that'd
would
be
be the
really
key.
fun. Local artists, so that
So
would
do
be really
I.
fun. Just so, hey, you've just upped the game.
But part of what we were thinking, you guys have probably seen at Snapped how we did that big mural. So we have Courtney that's been doing that.
Yeah.
And so she's doing musical art. We're like, this could be a Courtney gig too. So I'm always thinking, like, how can all my
That's
friends
great.
benefit? In theory, she gets
Brilliant.
paid like $1,000 or whatever to do the show. The show comes out. Chili Peppers signed the thing. Charity gets $25,000. You
Awesome.
spend maybe $2,000 on social, telling everyone in the world, "Hey, we've got this Chili Pepper painting," and the charity nets like $23,000 or whatever it is, and you could be doing that.
Amazing.
Imagine
Coming
how
up
many-
with different ways
Yeah.
to
how
raise
many
money.
Yeah,
different
look at
concepts.
this.
But that could be something you develop too. Like
Yeah.
we could talk about. That's a platform that charities could plug into, sort of the Ariana art idea thing, and that could generate so much money. And you're not putting the artist out at all. And in fact, as a marketing guy, you could create a whole PR spin. Look what the Chili Peppers are doing.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
They're
Yeah.
supporting across Canada or North America by doing art, and you have artists set up in each town.
Yeah.
I sense
for
this
art-
growing.
Oh, for sure. And for
And
the
yet
artists,
it-
it's
and yet
philanthropy
it-
too.
Yet it's pretty easy, and the person that buys
Yeah.
it wants it. So you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wins.
Right.
It's a lovely thing. Oh,
You're getting,
yeah,
and the artists
that's
are getting
great.
involved in a good cause, so it makes them want to be in it too. So
right. The artists, everybody's winning.
it.
So
Love it.
those are some cool ideas that I don't know. We're just sort of seeing things and just kind of going, how can it work post?
Makes me want to run right out and start that.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what other ideas? Like there's my idea. Okay, you guys both going to be put on the spot. I'm coming up with something. You've given us a couple ideas. Yeah, it's
Bring
on
it
you.
on, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what else could it be? I love the idea of old game shows.
Yeah.
Because I
that
think
is
it kind of
awesome.
connects.
You could take
with
like
things.
multiple different ones and weekly do a different one so people are getting engaged. Like, oh, Family Feud kind of things this week. Like, oh, your Hollywood Squares is the next week, and keep going like that.
We're kind of crazy around here. I know you're crazy too. in a good way. And we were talking with Bill from Market Brewing, and we said, like, wouldn't it be cool to do a trivia, but instead of just being straight trivia, that we acted as bad actors, acted out the trivia?
Like
So you'd be-
charade style trivia.
Sort of, not but you're actually showing it. Like, so maybe I'm pretending I'm Napoleon or something, but like a really bad version. So
Yeah,
I
you gotta get
got my hand in there, and I'm like, who got killed at the Battle of Waterloo, or I don't even know the whole story, but it's something like that. And like with bad costuming and stuff, and that people are watching that, like that's how the trivia. Because
Yeah.
for me, I always look at things on how do we make things big, like even that
Yeah.
whole painting.
How do you
thing,
expand
right?
on it?
Because Snapped, my other hat, is like across Canada. So I always look at how things can be replicated in a bunch of locations versus just in Newmarket. Although all the ideas come from
But
Newmarket.
add on virtual too. So.
Right. So the same kind of thing, right? So if you were doing like the stupid trivia, then like potentially even in a viral sense, I do think that Hollywood Squares thing, for example, if you have the right people, could have a lot of people, even in Newmarket, you could have like 5,000 people watching that every
We want
week.
some fun. We
Right.
all know that Christmas is coming up, New Year's is coming up, and it's going to be me, myself, and I
Right.
celebrating it. So this is a really fun way to participate, get
Get
the
people
community
engaged
involved.
again.
Exactly.
And you've got your brand
exactly.
going. So even in some cases, people might just be watching and not be able to afford this year even to make a donation. But at least Rose of Sharon's message is getting out. You weave it through,
That's
right?
great.
You're
Thank you.
reinforcing a bunch of people. You have the local celebrities who, in theory, up their relationship with you too. Even if it's all subconscious, it goes up a bit. And people participating, as you say, having fun in the sort of
We need some fun.
dark days.
Yeah,
or
we
whatever
need
ahead of us,
to
right?
and have a laugh. We ran a virtual game a few weeks ago for the mums, and it was so heartwarming because I could hear laughter. They turned up the computer so we could hear it all over the office. That bursts of laughter. People are having fun. You have to have a break. You have
Yeah.
to be able to enjoy. And if we can raise a few dollars while we're doing it, hey, all the better.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's the goal. But I'm always like, okay, we got to raise a lot of money though. Let's forget
That's the reality,
Yeah.
I think, for a lot of charities.
Yeah, and I think I had another idea too, like right at the beginning of COVID, because we pivoted at Snap. We started gift certificates to help everyone, saying, okay, well, we've got to all those people basically that supported your hockey teams and all that kind of stuff, or the charities and things. They're in trouble, and they're kind of going back into trouble too potentially. But so we have to make sure they all survive. And as Snap, we even selfishly needed to make sure they survive, because otherwise we wouldn't have any clients on the other side. But one of the things, I don't know, I'm going to ask you this. I thought it was brilliant. Like even beyond brilliant. Even beyond the brilliance.
Okay, do I need to bring the mother and me out here? Or are we gonna
beyond the brilliance that I know
When
you're
he says that,
I know
yeah,
Ariana's
it's like,
rolling her eyes right now. That's why I'm not looking at her. I'm just going to go with, he's super smart. But one of the things I thought would be cool is doing a single fundraising thing. Not exactly United Way, but the concept was like one for all almost. And so that if we're super promoting all of us, one single donation, like take care of all charities, I actually think collectively you can make more money. And the reason for that is there's so much competition. And I don't mean this
Yeah.
specifically
No,
Rose
no,
of
no,
Sharon,
no.
but there's a lot of charities out there going, please give me something because we're hurting. And they all are. And as you would attest, and we talked about Easter seals. But imagine if you said we're all collaborating to make money. So even if it was the Hollywood Squares, it's for one. Or what, because I had that concept around one, and that becomes this sort of charity. So it's the only fundraising thing in Newmarket. And then there's a disbursement of money. And if you think about things like Hoedown, fundamentally that's what they do.
Yeah.
They do a big music thing. the charities apply, and then they dish out
Everybody
the money.
benefits.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
What do
everybody's-
I think with the hoedown, they do it that you select when you buy your ticket, you select the charity you want it to
You
go to.
can do it that way because we run all the ticketing
Yeah.
at Snap. So originally it's still
You
kind of a
select-
hybrid.
yeah.
What happens is the charities apply to hoedown. We need, I'm making it up, Rose of Sharon, we'd like to get 50,000. Newmarket Hockey Association, we need 20,000. And then they analyze it all and say, hey, if you contribute and do your thing, we'll give you 42,000, and Hockey Association will give you 18,000, or whatever the math all works out to be. And I think they kind of determine that based on the collective fundraising. But if you think about it, everything's going towards hoedown, and then everything that comes back is
dispersed.
So why do I see Paul as a younger, better-looking Santa Claus right now?
Oh, I thought I was getting slagged there for a second. So you're saying I'm better looking than Santa Claus?
Absolutely.
I don't even know if that's a compliment. You didn't
And,
say-
and younger.
Could you not have
and
said
younger.
thinner?
And younger.
No.
I mean, better looking could have the connotation.
Yeah,
of
there you
thinner.
go.
But do you know what I mean? Like, do you think that
Yeah.
that would work?
That's really great. And it rallies everybody together. So everybody's supporting one another. I think that's a really great message.
So I did talk to a town that's around here, was in Newmarket, and right away I got some weird pushback. And then, like, I think, how do I just say this?
See, new ideas. It's just a new idea.
But
It
I
takes
think
time.
what happened was the charities, like, the danger of it is the charities go, yeah, we're in for that, and then just go do their own thing anyway.
Yeah.
So I think not working collaboratively, the potential
That would
is
be the downfall of it.
divisive,
Yep.
right? Yeah, we're in because they want that pipeline, but then they're like, I'm going to do my bingo anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not saying bingo might be a bad example,
Right,
but you know
right.
what I mean?
No. Yeah.
That if there was collective strategy,
They would have to be cohesive and all saying that this one fundraiser is what we're doing at this time, and then after that you could go off and do your own thing, but your resources go into that at that time.
right.
That would be how it would work.
It's almost too bad because I'll just make the Giving Tuesday is December 1st, and that would have been perfect to bring everyone together because that's the whole focus is nationally to donate on that day. So maybe for next year, this sounds like a really big project.
But Giving Tuesday becomes giving together every day,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the beginning. It's the beginning to donate. So
right? Because I think, that way the Hollywood Squares idea just contributes to the pot.
yes.
And then maybe the holiday market at Market Brewing, that contributes to the pot. And everybody's into the pot. I actually think the collective pot is bigger.
I think it would be because different people like to support different charities, and then this way, it's your money's going a little bit to everyone, so you're helping more people by one donation.
Anyway, that was one of the ideas.
I like it.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds
not-
really great. I think because it brings everyone together, because everyone working together, more ideas come out, the more people who are involved, and it's a really warm and happy.
And I think that's what you want right now. Like bringing that sense of community back is such a big thing right now because
Exactly, and we could be serving the same person.
Yeah.
They may be needing services from multiple locations. So
Yeah.
I've got some ideas I want to talk about. First things first, though, I want to take a pause. You guys good with that?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Bill here with Market Brewing, and yes, it's been some weird times, but at Market Brewing, whether you're coming in for a beer to go or to hang out in our tap room or on the patio, we've done everything we can to make sure it's comfortable for you with safety in mind. Hey, if you're into the beers, that's probably one of the reasons you're coming by. Our brewers have done an excellent job of keeping up with cool new weekly releases and an eclectic mix and nice variety of delicious fresh beers. We're also making sanitizer on site as well, which was commended by the Ontario government to help out our community and help other businesses get started and get back in action. On top of that, if you come on by, we always have some fun events to look forward to. On Tuesdays, we do trivia. Thursdays, bingo. Friday, our local music series with Snap. And on Saturday, we have live music during the afternoon as well. And we know not everybody is comfortable coming out to these public events when we're open. So on Sundays, we're dedicating them to smaller private reservations. You can book a birthday, retirement, wedding, shower, baby shower, you name it. Any of those important life events, you can do them in the Market Brewing Tap Room. And with that being said, you can always expect to find a cool food truck or chef there. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you can bring in your own food. You can come with your dog. The sky's the limit. Our priority, though, is safety for our guests. And then we're going to have some fun times ahead. We look forward to seeing you in the tap room.
So we're back from another break, and thanks to more sponsors for keeping this show going. So have you got any questions or anything, Deanne, like for us or Ariana or?
Yes, so Ariana, I have a question for you. What's going on in your world? I know you're really busy and you've got a lot of things happening. I'm really curious too to get caught up.
So as I mentioned before, the company I was with went under because of this lovely thing called COVID. So it's actually been pushing me to decide what I want to be doing. So thought of opening my own event company is coming more into life now. So I've been putting work into seeing what I want to do there. So I know to start, I have a couple of friends that want events done. So just smaller things and building it up all just around like Newmarket and surrounding kind of area. And then have a bigger one at the end of summer, which will be like an adult kind of summer camp and we're trying to figure out social distancing for that right now and how to play that out.
I think there's a whole
There's so much to
industry
do
right now that can be exploited, for lack of a better way of describing it. I don't mean exploited in the sense of taking advantage, but having an awareness. And I think on our very first podcast, we talked about now is the time if you're to be an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Because how many event companies are hiring? Like
Not many.
And as your friend, you're not going to get a job now.
Yeah, not many.
So create your jobs.
Yep.
And go, and that's where Snap can help you, and with logos and all that kind of stuff, help you make a nice company and communicate. I'll run ads in the paper saying, hire Ariana's company, great to help you with event marketing because I know all the stuff that you do. And I'll connect you with people like Deanne saying, hey, if you need any help on
Yeah,
coordinating.
here it is. Oh yeah, you have such a history of doing a lot of things.
But
Where's the energy come from? Because I just see
don't
you
know.
as never
I honestly
stopping.
don't know. Everyone says that to me all the time. I have no idea.
But I think there's things too, like even from like an event marketing company. I used to run, like one of the things I used to do is run golf tournaments for companies.
Yeah.
Well,
And I would just take a piece of the action from the golf course.
Yep.
So I would say, i.e. to a Cardinal. I didn't use Cardinal, but I can deliver 150 executives here, but I'm only going to pay 85 cents on the dollar. But I'm going to charge the company 100 cents on the dollar. And so that becomes my margin. And if you think about it, like I'm not really attacking the steak dinner. I'm just attacking the scorecard.
Right.
And the scorecard and the pencil. And so not one of those companies ever said no. And if you think about it, like it would be like $2,500 a day I was
Easily.
making just running a golf tournament. And now all of a sudden the people that did not know golf, they had me doing it. So the tournament itself was good. Right. And there's a little thing as an event marketer, you're making sure you have all the signage and, directions.
Everything.
You've got it all planned out. It's kind of like a wedding planner. You have all the pitfalls and things to avoid. Whereas the person only getting married once or running
Has
one
no
golf
idea.
tournament have no idea.
Oh yeah, I showed my boyfriend the other day for an event I'm working on putting together, just the schedule of my project timeline and everything that went into it, and he was just like dumbfounded by it. It was like, this is what behind the scenes of an event is, and I'm like, yep, there's a lot of work that goes into it that people don't realize that when you're just doing a one day thing.
But when you could show organizations like Rose of Sharon that what you do doesn't even cost them money,
No.
i.e. I'm running your golf tournament, but I'm actually making the money from the golf club,
Yep.
then it becomes a no-brainer. So you're going to raise money for me, and it's not going to cost me anything.
Yep.
No, because it's all buried into it.
So that's something we've actually been thinking about, to run a golf tournament over a period of a month, because people can only go in a few at a time. So we thought just make it a long golf tournament and then still look at those fun prizes at the end. It's an honor system, but it could be a lot
But
of
golf's
fun.
around honor.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not
How are
everyone
the
is
strokes?
honorable.
Who
But there's
did
things
the
like-
best? Who did?
But there's things like augmented reality that we've been putting into golf tournaments. So,
Awesome.
for example,
I would love to see
if you
that.
think about
Simulators
a-
and stuff they have now too.
Yeah.
Think about a golf tournament. Historically, you might have a sign on the tee block that says this hole sponsored by Snapped or whoever.
Longest drive sponsored by whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have the sign, we did this last year, even before COVID, that you could actually have someone with their phone
Pull up.
right and say,
company.
"Hi, this is McDonald's longest drive," or whatever it is. "Hi, it's Paul here from McDonald's. I wanted to tell you why we're sponsoring Rose of Sharon's longest drive on the 5th hole today. It's because of this reason. We're really happy." The sponsor themselves of that will pay more. So you turn the $100 thing you were charging into $200, and they're a little more engaged with you. Like, it's better and way more than just a logo sitting.
It
on the
creates more
stand.
of an experience for the golfers too.
Right. Because we even said maybe you should just have that, like, forget the longest drive, but let's say it's Snap sponsoring this hole. Like, as a golfer, I'd be more interested in going, "Hi, it's Ariana from Snap. I'm going to tell you how to play this hole today. Hit it down the left side and watch out for the creek, and then come on that way. And your team, good luck to your team." Or maybe you've got, and I'm going to give you a secret word that if you put it on your scorecard and you collect all the secret words, you can take a shot off your score or something.
You know what I would love to is
be
like
entered
you
into a
win the
draw.
car, the hole-in-one, but a
Hole-in-one.
hole-in-one cam. So you can always be watching.
So I
that
worked for
come in.
Cardinal for like 7+ years, and I've seen that hole-in-one thing happen once, and they push out golf tournaments there like.
So I can tell you
nobody's.
behind the scenes, for those of us who had to watch that hole-in-one, they want to get all of your information, including your date of birth. And I said to them, "Okay, I'm out. I'm not going to give it to you." And they said, "Well, you have to. You're trained in it." And I said, "No, not going to happen." I said, "When was the last time they won?" And they said it was about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, you know what? If they win, I'll fill out the rest of your
That's
form,
why-
and I'll give you the
I actually know. I used to run those hole-in-one things, so it's 1 in 14,000
Yeah.
Yeah.
rounds. We'll
And
have
that's why it's
hole-in-one.
usually
Date of
easier to
birth
get that
was
donation of a
kept.
car
Yeah.
because no one wins it.
Exactly. So,
But I do know of a story where someone got it close to the hole and won $100,000.
That's
So
pretty
they-
cool. though.
they
Never
had-
heard it. Gave a
that.
different incentive.
At a golf tournament, they said, "Okay, we're going to take 3 winners from the closest hole, and then they're going to do a playoff at the very end when everyone was finished, so everyone could watch." And it's for 100,000. They hit it from like 200 yards, and the guy got the hole-in-one.
come on.
Love
I know
it.
people that were at
That's
it
cool.
watching it. Yeah.
Well, and now they have it would be cool to see. They have all the golf simulators and stuff. I know Cardinal just got 3 of them. So even you could do little mini golf tournaments through the winter time for fundraising with those simulators. It doesn't stop.
I would totally do that. And those simulators, I don't know if you're a golfer, but I am.
They're cool.
You can play like Pebble Beach and like these world famous golf courses.
Yeah,
You
they're
just
awesome.
program them. And so as an amateur, you're looking at, I've played them before. It's a pretty cool experience.
I went and played around with
and
them
you
on the
just
other
hit it
day.
into a net, and then it shows the ball going down the fairway, and then you putt. And it's a pretty cool thing. But you could probably, I'm sure you could bring in sponsors to sit on top of that.
Well, and I
You're
know
playing in the Rose of Sharon
That
challenge.
sounds like
or
a
whatever.
lot of
Yeah,
fun.
they have like 3 simulators, and it's like 3 people that could play like in a team. So you could run like a tournament for the day in the simulators and be raising money that way
Yeah.
over the winter
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
And like they have like full restaurant and like food and bar there too. So
So we're
there's
giving a plug for
I have-
Cardinal anyway. What does that typically
I have
cost?
so much to learn here.
You know?
The
This is
simulators,
amazing.
I'm not certain on the simulator pricing yet because it's a new, like they literally just got them in a week ago.
It's probably
Like,
like $40.
Yeah, well,
per
I
person
think
or
it's-
something like that.
It's similar. Well, it'll be cheaper than what the cost of to play at Cardinal is, I believe, and then they have the bar and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go probably like $50. I could send a text in 2 seconds to get an answer, but
Yeah.
So we have Market Brewing delivering the alcohol.
That's it. I mean, I think you want to be creative and kind of pull
Yeah.
all your partners together. And
Yeah.
Ariana's
That's
starting a whole
great.
business right there. There's another part of her thing. She's going to be running the painting thing and delivering.
She's
virtual
reinventing
golf
herself
tournaments.
right in front
Yeah.
of us here.
takes one podcast. There you
But
go.
then you could do things like what you could do is you could run the golf tournament even for a month or whatever the period of time is, or a day or a week, and then you could do a virtual awards night.
Yep.
Right, so
Oh,
now
that's
people all
fun.
log into
Yeah.
the Zoom or go to, and you're like, "Hey, the winner of the McDonald's longest drive is," or whatever it is. the secret hole on virtual golf is so and so.
Yeah.
And then you that's where we
great.
could help, and you do the virtual thing, and I won, fantastic.
Yeah, we need your expertise there, Paul, for sure.
Well, I mean, I've played so many golf tournaments, so excuse me. So I think there's all sorts of cool ideas. I know we have. Is there one takeaway we want to talk about? I think for you, Ariana, it's like to get your entrepreneurial thing
Get
going.
this going, yeah.
And I think for you, is there any other things we want to talk about, Rose of Sharon, or?
It's truly the donations right now. We have Christmas coming up. We're trying to get all the food together to send out to the mums. I anticipate, because over the holiday people aren't able to get together. Some of the parents are aging. So some of the mums are going to be alone. Can you imagine spending baby's first Christmas?
No.
Well, and now they've put new restrictions in place too.
And we don't know, every day they change. That we don't
Literally every day.
know. So
Is
we're
there specific things you would want, like donated, like diapers and toys, and
so
are you
with
looking for clothing for the moms? Like, what is it? you
not
might
right now,
have?
because we're being really mindful of COVID as well. So we're looking for all of the diapers, the baby wipes, the non-perishable food items are really important to us as well. And honestly, the money helps because then we can get all of these things out to everybody, and we
I
can.
should mention that your website and stuff will be on the podcast page, and like social media connections.
That's
and
great.
everything.
Thank you.
All that information will be on the page, and consumers can connect, or clients or listeners can connect with you that way. Yeah, is that true? Or send you an email?
Have you guys
Absolutely,
ever
that's
done like
great.
diaper drives or anything like that?
Not yet, but we're thinking about things because we're having to reinvent how we've done things over
Well,
time.
I know this girl that started her new event marketing company.
Do you?
And
What's
she
her
does-
name?
She does diaper drives, golf tournaments, and art like musical acts. She's like worth millions.
By next year.
Yeah, but I think there's all sorts of cool ideas like that. But thanks. I want to thank you guys for being on the show. I'm going to wrap it up. We could talk all day and drink coffees and do
Thank
things
you,
all
Paul,
day.
so much for all your support. You and Snapped, you've been just absolutely heartwarming, the support that we've been receiving.
You're welcome. But I do want to thank you guys for being on the
Thanks for
show,
having
and
me.
we're going to have abilities for people to connect. And until next time. Thanks,
Until
you guys.
next time.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.